What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Trent here, coming at you today with a new comic book haul. In today's video, I'm going to be going over all the new comic books I picked up at my local comic book store today, what I'm reading, and what I've been enjoying. But before we get started, consider leaving a like on this video if you end up enjoying this comic book haul, and consider subscribing to the channel. Right now, I'm on the road to 50 subscribers by the end of the month, and your subscription would mean the world to me. I always like to start off my comic book haul videos by highlighting my favorite issue from last week. And this week's highlight was Absolute Batman number 10, written by Scott Snyder and art by Nick Dragotta. This comic continues to be at the top of my pile week after week, and this issue was no exception. This one follows the aftermath of Bane capturing Batman. Bruce wakes up in Arkham and is being experimented on by these doctors, and the whole issue is him trying to figure out a way to escape. Not only does the series offer a refreshing take on Batman with his new origin, but it keeps his core in there. Like, he still has that intelligence that you expect from Bruce, but there's this new brand of brutality within him. And Bruce is on demon time in this issue. Like, the way he's trying to escape and the way he tries to get past these guards and these doctors, he is doing everything he possibly can to escape. Phenomenal issue. Super excited for the next one. With that out of the way, we're moving on to the issues that came out this week, starting off with Exquisite Corpses issue 3, written by James Tynion and art by Valentine Delandro. I really enjoyed this issue. It more or less takes place within one setting, and we're following around some of these side characters as they're trying to discover and figure out what is going on in this town, because it's like a town-wide blackout. There's no Wi-Fi, there's no electricity, and they're trying to figure out what's going on. And meanwhile, you have all these killers running around and causing complete havoc in this town. I still really enjoyed this issue. I have a blast watching and reading this series. The art is fantastic. The story is pretty good. The kills in this are crazy. I was like squirming and had to kind of like look away and take a little bit of a break when I was reading this one in particular, because they're doing stuff with needles that I absolutely hated and loved at the same time. This is probably going to be a series that I follow all the way through to the end. If you know me, if you've been following the channel for a while, you know I had to pick it up from IDW Publishing. We have Godzilla number 1, written by Tim Seeley and art by Nicola C. This issue did not disappoint for me personally. It really, really, really reminds me of, if you guys have heard or seen it, Kaiju number 8. It's a Japanese manga, now anime. We had this team of, I guess, like military operatives who are specifically trained to defeat kaijus. And our main character, for some reason or another, we don't really know why, somehow has some powers similar to Godzilla. This issue mostly introduces us to the main character, introduces us to the world, the team, and it ends in a pretty interesting cliffhanger. If you're a big fan of Godzilla and the Monsterverse, the Kaijuverse, there's stuff in here for you. If you're a big fan of like Kaiju number 8, this is just another angle of that same similar concept. Okay, next up from DC Comics, we've got Absolute Wonder Woman issue 10, written by Kelly Thompson and art by Hayden Sherman. In this issue, Diana is still in the maze fighting these new foes as she's in search for a fellow Amazon. I, for the most part, really enjoyed this issue. There's a little bit of everything in here. In this issue, we actually get a short flashback sequence where we just get to see more of Diana's childhood, and we get to unravel more about what makes her character so special. There's some cool action in here. The art in this is fantastic. There's a scene where Diana starts to hallucinate, I guess, and the visuals they use for that are trippy, mesmerizing, super colorful, and very awesome. It's kind of like the vibe that you were getting from the cover, but page to page. I thought that was really cool. So far, I have been enjoying this story arc that they've been on. I feel like with the promise of them looking for the Amazon and they haven't found them yet, has and there's this whole new conflict. I hope they, when by the time they resolve this his conflict that she's currently in, that we eventually do get to meet an Amazon or something that made all this feel worthwhile, because Diana is going through it in this phase, and I hope that her mission is not for nothing by the time it's all said and done. But yeah, Absolute Wonder Woman, number 10, super fun time. All right, and that brings me to the last book of my haul this week. Only 4 books total. It's on the shorter side because I've been trying to shorten my pull list week to week, try and keep it within a budget. I'm actually planning on making a short video later this month to talk about how I decide what goes on my pull list and what doesn't, and my criteria for picking up a certain book or not. I think that could be pretty helpful information, especially for people who are trying to get into this hobby, trying to stick to a strict budget the same way that I am. And for the last book of this haul from DC Comics, we got Absolute Martian Manhunter, number 5, written by Denise Camp and art by Javier Rodriguez. What can I say about this book that hasn't already been said? Every month when this issue comes out, it is such a treat to read this series. Denise Camp is slowly becoming one of my goats. The writing is so phenomenal. Every time he has a new ongoing or single issue, I'm first in line, man. I'm pre-ordering those books because he is in his bag for this. Javier Rodriguez, I'm a lifetime fan. I remember reading the first issue and not really understanding the hype. You have to come into this series with a different type of mindset. It's otherworldly and extraterrestrial, and the art style perfectly reflects that. John Johns and the Martian are like teaming up, running around the city. Everyone's out of their minds. Everyone's acting crazy. The way they visually show the chaos of this world. The visuals for it were so cool. It reminded me of Peter Pan and his shadow. Your shadow does all the bad stuff, and you yourself, you're separate from that. And there's a moment towards the end of this book that I had to reread like 4 times because I was legit like shocked at the reveal. But it makes perfect sense. I thought this was a phenomenal issue front to back. If you're not reading this, you got to pick it up. It's about to get even crazier, top of the pile every single week. All right, that brings me to the end of this week's comic book haul. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I truly appreciate it. Let me know in the comments below, what did you guys pick up? What have you guys been reading and enjoying? If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like. Consider subscribing to the channel as I am on the road to 50 subscribers by the end of July. That's all I've got for you today. I'll see you guys next week. Have a day.